The world's largest bank, Wells Fargo, has just confirmed that in the next 2 to 7 months, XRP will be priced between $100 to $500. Now, it's very important when you realize that Wells Fargo is also that same institution that anticipates that a whopping $650 trillion will in fact flow directly into the XRP ledger via the real estate market, and that would be injected by the end of 2026. So the expectation is in the beginning of 2026, which lies in about 2 to 3 months, we see XRP hit a whopping $100 to $500, and then by the end of 2026, XRP's price all the way up to $9,818. And the reason why this actually may happen is because the market of the $650 trillion might unfold in as early as next week. In fact, it's not just Wells Fargo that actually believes that XRP is going to surge and hit $500 and that the globalization of XRP is about to unfold. Rather, it's all of the biggest banks in the world that believe the same thing. Like, take a look at this report confirming by JP Morgan that JP Morgan Chase has actually approved the use of XRP for all payments. This includes credit card, this includes mortgage payments. You can now pay your bills for JP Morgan using XRP. This is a clear sign that JP Morgan on their own anticipates that XRP is going to skyrocket. In fact, a report has actually been verified and confirmed that JP Morgan has a fund called the 7.5% XRP fund, which basically means that JP Morgan has been quietly accumulating with the goal of reaching 7.5% of their total net worth, all of it invested into XRP. So obviously JP Morgan anticipates that XRP's price is going to rise, and it coincides perfectly with what is happening with Wells Fargo's prediction of 500 within the next couple of months and 9,000 within the next year. And Bank of America has also followed suit, with them entering an agreement with Ripple to use XRP for payments. And so over the next couple of weeks, you're likely going to see massive supply shock occur for XRP. And this is where we talk about the biggest price glitches that have been occurring that coincide with the exact number you're looking at the screen, $9,818. Because over the last couple of days, XRP has price glitched over $9,864, and it's happened on numerous exchanges and at different levels. For example, in the image you see, this is one exchange where XRP's price skyrocketed from $3 or $2.02 to over $9,866. Now here's another example of this. XRP skyrocketing to over $247.83. And while everybody keeps saying that this is a price glitch, it's not. In fact, we have confirmation that this is not a price glitch due to the fact that Gemini, one of the biggest exchanges, once XRP was just listed on Gemini and XRP skyrocketed to $50 on Gemini, remember that. Gemini came out publicly and said that this was not a price glitch, but rather a massive supply shock. Yes, in a matter of a mere 5 minutes, there was so much demand worth millions of dollars and not enough supply of XRP that it caused for a supply shortage and a massive supply shock, resulting in a massively suppressed surplus in XRP's price. We're talking XRP going from $1 at the time to over $50 and transactions actually being conducted, meaning people were actually selling XRP at $50, resulting in them making millions of dollars based on how much XRP they ended up selling. And this is going to happen again. And it's going to happen as early as next week, as XRP will experience one of the biggest supply shocks due to the injection of $650 trillion that nobody's talking about. It will happen, and it will happen suddenly. And those that have their sell orders and buy orders set will hit those markers and will be able to actually sell XRP in the hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But it will happen for a very short time. And before we get into the date, the details, the timeline, we actually partnered with Apple to give every single person watching today's video up to $100 worth of free XRP. So if you want to get yourself some free XRP at $2.06 right now is XRP's price, and have the potential for XRP to reach hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, well, your chance to get some free XRP right here by signing up on Apple using my link in the description and doing a transaction. The whole process takes less than 5 minutes. It's literally free money, so I definitely recommend you take advantage of this, and it's limited time until the end of the month. So tell your family, tell your friends, and spread the word. So how is this supply shock going to happen? And why does everybody keep talking about the $650 trillion market that is about to unfold directly on the XRP ledger? Well, it comes down to RealFi, a massive institution that now allows you to buy real estate directly on the XRP ledger. And this is a project that is being hidden from the public. Not many people know about it, even though it's a multi-trillion-dollar market and they're exponentially growing. And they highlight it quite clearly that RealFi is a payment reward solution unlocking $654.39 trillion, which is the real estate market and the payment rewards industry. And it's all being facilitated on the XRP ledger via the real token, which is actually built on the XRPL. Now, this is the real token, and not only is it solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem, but it has a very low supply of about 22 million phase one supply. Max supply is 1 billion, which is nothing. And when you imagine what this token was, this is about 3 to 4 months old. It's a very relatively new project. And to top it all off, this thing went from 100th of a penny to about 2 cents. And we're going to continue to see it soaring as more and more money gets injected into it. And just recently, it just got listed on MEX. That means adoption is coming. Imagine the $650 trillion market entering into real token, what the price of real token would be, specifically with such a low supply. Right now, this is what experts, and not my words, remember, this is what experts are literally saying. Take a look at this. This is insane. But imagine, Ripple is reportedly transitioning into a fully licensed financial institution under the name Ripple National Trust Bank. But you know what's crazier? It's actually that if only 1% of the $650 trillion market actually enters into real token, the price would soar from 2 cents to over $65,000. That's what they're not telling you. But what is happening on the back end is institutions like Ripple, like the financial sector, like the banks, are all actually buying into the real token. And this is why it's getting that adoption. And this is why, even without any mass marketing campaign, even though people are not talking about it, it's getting that wide scale adoption and its price is soaring. Like I literally told you that before it was even listed on MEX, the project real token went from literally 100th of a penny to over 2 cents, which is hundreds of thousands of percentages increased. And this is about to happen again. And it's about to happen as early as next week, as massive adoption is talking about. You know, we're talking about XRP soaring, to $200. Well, if you think about it, the only way for XRP to soar is for XRP to get basically all of the global wealth sector. And how is that going to happen? Well, if RealFi brings in the $650 trillion market, and it does that obviously via the real token, then the price is going to soar. And as the price soars, it will cause supply shock also for XRP. So not only is real token going to skyrocket, but XRP will do a pump, because again, the only way for XRP to surge is you have massive supply shock for XRP per ledger price like real token. It's adopting $650 trillion. 1% of that would cause real token to go from 2 cents to $65,000. But if you think about it as well, for people to actually be able to transact a real token, you have to use XRP. And in fact, with every single transaction that happens to real token, XRP is burnt. And so this is the concept of bullishness for XRP, bullishness for real token. Real token will hit $65,000 potentially, and XRP will also experience some sort of supply shock and hit a couple $100, which is very bullish. Now, of course, I got myself a massive bag of real token. I mean, I'm very bullish on this project. I think we're solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem, especially in the real-world asset and real estate sector, which is very rare to see. And most of the time, again, you see projects like this, they are already worth thousands of dollars. Why? Well, because if you think about it, this is a real-world asset industry, right? There's not many of them, and the price will have to accommodate, specifically when you have a very low supply like we do in this case. Like almost every single project that is in the real-world sector, it literally has hundreds of billion market cap that's listed on a centralized exchange. And so real token has nowhere near that, but we're expecting it to happen. And if it happens, the price will absolutely soar. And what makes real token even better is the fact that RealFi is using it not just for real-world assets, which is a $650 trillion market, but also for payment rewards, which is another multi-trillion dollar market as well. And there's rumors that not only RealFi plans to use it, but also Ripple plans to use the real token, which again, we're talking about massive large-scale adoption here and massive price increases because there's not enough supply. And this is what, again, this is why I'm very bullish on it. This is why I think a lot of experts are very bullish on it. And this is why I think very short period of time, we're going to see a massive supply shock for a real token, and we're going to see the price of real token soar to, I think, we've never seen before highs before. I think, as we get closer to the end of the bull market, which is very, very soon, I think we're reaching, the end of the bull market. But I truly believe we're going to see one of the biggest breakouts historically for the crypto market for altcoins, and then we're going to see a massive bear market. And so if you're trying to make generational wealth through this, you're trying to actually create real money from it, like millions or hundreds of thousands, or convert your $1,000 into $1 million. The only way you're actually going to be able to do this is if you land a project that is solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem, and that is one of the golden opportunities that you see and I see right in front of me. I mean, I think we're at a very critical time, like a multi-trillion-dollar market is unlocking. And if you want to be one of the very few that's similar to, how people bought Bitcoin at $1 and it's skyrocketed to 20,000, this is one of these golden opportunities. So a multi-trillion-dollar problem, literally you can get in very, very early. The price is about to break out and soar. And on top of this, it's built on the XRP ledger. And just now, it just got accessible. I mean, this is where you want to be. You can now easily buy it. It's listed on MEX. I'll be leaving all the links down below in the description. You can get it on MEX, or you can also get it on XRP Ledger decentralized exchanges, whichever one you want. But now is the time to get in early before the market actually realizes and the price begins to soar and we start to get real scale adoption for obviously the real token. And so obviously you got to be keeping an eye on to that as well. I'll be leaving all links down below in the description. All right, guys, and everything is available on their Twitter page as well. You can visit them at RealFi Team. Do your research. As always, I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. No, you do your own research. Really, what I'm emphasizing is I want you guys to do your research because, like I said, I think we're at the peak of the bull run. We're going to hit the peak of the bull run. I think we're going to get like altcoins are about to surge massively, but I do think after that massive altcoin surge, we're going to reach a massive bear market. And so the time is now. If you're trying to capitalize, if you're trying to create generational wealth for yourself, well, you make the money right now. You got to buy into a project and you got to get that massive pump before obviously it disappears and we sit another 4 years with only a bear market. And so I'll be leaving all the information down below. I think this is, again, a very golden time for crypto holders to accumulate before that massive breakout. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not financial advice. Do your own research. I'll see you next time and